Okay, guys, we're back again Wednesday evening. Can you believe this? Wednesday evenings, I've been doing this for 7 weeks in a row now. And it was only last week when I was checking, I was like, shit, me, I've just done 6 weeks of live broadcasts every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m., just bringing a whole load of value to you guys who are watching. And I just want to say, first of all, as I guess appreciation for everybody who watches these lives, whether you're watching live or whether you watch on a replay, thank you. Kind of reminds me when I first started my podcast started the idea in 2014, but launched the podcast in January 2015. 9 months later, after launching the podcast, we became the UK's #1 business podcast. Can you believe that, guys? It's been that long, actually, and we're in 2020 now, so that was like 5 years ago. It's interesting and also amazing how time flies. But tonight, I want to kick some ass with you guys, and I want to kick procrastination's ass. I want to kick overthinking's ass and show you guys how to launch campaigns and ideas faster in your business. And if I'm honest, guys, this comes out of conversations that I've been having with entrepreneurs over the past week, and both frustrating because I can see, I guess, where these entrepreneurs are going wrong. And at the same time, I recognize it because I've been there, I've been through it myself. And so today I'm going to be sharing some stories with you about you taking away 3 key lessons. And these 3 key lessons are how you can launch campaigns, ideas, whatever it is that you want to do, and you just launch it faster. And I'm going to give you some insights in these stories on what you can do. And also, guys, as you're watching, remember, just drop your comments, your questions, anything that you resonate with, anything that is familiar with you. Please interact on the comments. What I will do, I'll load up, because I know we're going live in one particular group, which is my More Leads, More Clients community. If you're not part of the Facebook group already, do join that group. It's called More Leads, More Clients community. We're also live on YouTube. So, hey, everybody on YouTube. Right, so let's get into this. Eric, thank you for jumping on as well. Just shout you out before I get started. San Diego, woohoo! Speaker Eric Swanson, yes, my good friend. So I'm talking about how to launch campaigns, ideas faster in your business. Now, as I said, this comes out of seeing a lot of entrepreneurs, speaking to a lot of entrepreneurs, and people falling over themselves. And I'm going to share one before I get into the real content, one story. So I'm speaking to somebody who reached out to me, a prospect, and I said, great, fantastic, love having sales calls. So we book in the call, jump on the call, and he's telling me about his business. And so I say, kind of just dig in and give me an overview. And so he starts speaking, and he was like, well, I've been thinking about this idea for 14 months. And I was like, alarm bells instantly. I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking about this for 14 months. And so I was like, I'm very straight up when I do my sales calls, strategy calls, discovery calls. And so I just said, whenever we do, this was right at the beginning of the call, I said, whenever we do discovery calls or I'm on discovery calls, is it okay if I'm just honest and straight with you and just jump in? I might dig deeper. I might need to ask a few questions. And the guy was like, yeah, just fire away. I love honesty because then I know where I'm at. So anyway, I'm speaking to this guy. And he says, I've been thinking about this idea for 14 months. And I'm, as I said, alarm bells are like, shit, me, 14 months. So I was like, tell me more. And so he's like, I've been doing research. I've been doing customer surveys. I was getting test groups, getting them to fill in surveys. And I've got all these reams of research. And I'm like, right. I was like, so tell me about the product, and the guy tells me about this product. It's a physical product. And I'm not going to dig into too much about what the product is. But anyway, it's a physical product. And I say to him, so great. Do you have a prototype? Because I'm thinking if he's been thinking about it for 14 months, done all this research, he must have something. He must have a prototype. And so anyway, he's like, no, I don't have a prototype. And he's like, but, I've got a designer. The designer has been following my journey for the past 14 months. And we're going to launch something in the next kind of 3 to 6 months as a prototype. And I'm like, oh, shit. This is really messed up. And so I say to the prospect on the call, I'm like, can I be honest with you and tell you where your problem is, and what needs to happen if you want to turn this into a business. And he, the guy says, yeah. And so I say to him, first of all, I'm like, well, all you've got is an idea. You spent 14 months with an idea. He said that he'd invested in some coaching and some accelerator programs over the past 14 months. I'm like, great. Where did you get the money to do that? Did you make any sales or anything? I knew at this point he hadn't made any sales. And he said, no, I just used savings. And I'm like, okay. And, we're talking. And at that point, I say to him, great. So let me share with you. What you need, because you've got this product, is you either need a prototype or you need to get in front of the people who are going to buy it and simply sell it even before it's ready. And he's like, but I've got to do set up the company registration. I've got to get VAT registered. I've got to get my trademark. I've got to get intellectual property. I've got to get my patents, all these different things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this person really doesn't know. And bearing in mind, the prospect who I'm speaking to is 32 years old. So he's not like just fresh, he's like at least in his 30s. He's done something. And so as I'm speaking to him, I'm like, right, can I just share with you what you need to do? And it was kind of like I was reiterating with them. I said, basically, you need a prototype. You need to be in front of a group of people who will be potential buyers of this product and sell it to them, whether it's, the perfect version or just the first version. Yeah. And the quick analogy that I gave him, and let me know if this resonates with any of you guys, whether you've delayed in, putting something out, a campaign, an idea, a product, a service, or whatever. Just drop me a comment right now. And so as I'm speaking to him, I'm like, you've just got to sell the thing. And I said, you know what? When people have smartphones, like I'm holding my phone right here, the companies that release these phones, they don't release them finished perfect, like 100% perfect. You have to do software updates. You have to do firmware updates, like the whole shebang. So you buy a product that is imperfect. You buy a product that isn't ready. It can do a certain number of things, but it gets better with time. But when you've had it too long, as we all know now, phones start to slow down. But anyway, that's another story. But the point I was getting to is that what you've got to do is simply take the action. And as I'm speaking to him, he's like, yeah, but, surely I need to have, VAT registration. I'm like, well, you don't pay any VAT until you've passed around about, £80,000 in the UK anyway. And, why would you want to register for VAT if you haven't made any sales? Yeah. So anyway, that's my intro story, guys. And, if that makes sense, give me a yes in the comments. And if you're watching this on the replay, give me a yes too. So what I've done, I've got 3 stories now that I want to share with you. And these 3 stories basically have 3 lessons. And the lessons that I'm talking about in that mini story I've just given you a moment ago are lessons that I want you to take away, because there's so many reasons why you should think more about a campaign, more about an idea, more about whatever the heck it is. And the reality is that the more you think about these things, the more you fall into procrastination, not making a decision. And when you don't make a decision, you can go 2 ways. And I'm sharing this now, just kind of a real place, which is business owner mindset. When you don't make decisions, you fall into depression, or you fall into anxiety, or you fall into overwhelm. You fall into more stress, because you've got other things, you've got other responsibilities. And whilst you're not making this decision that is going to be the thing that probably more than likely is going to push you forward, you stay in this place of procrastination. But I'm going to share with you how you do move forward. Paul, thanks for sharing a yes there, and really appreciate you commenting. Brave and courageous. So let me get into this. I've got a PowerPoint slide share that I'm going to share with you. It's a visual more than anything. There isn't like loads of stuff on the PowerPoint, but there's a few key points that I do want to share with you. So let me just load that up on the screen now. Where are we? Slideshow, PowerPoint. Here we are. So hopefully you guys have seen that on the screen next to me. So before I go into the 3 lessons, a couple of things. If you need help in your business, I have a program called Certainty in Crisis. It's an 8-week coaching program for business owners, coaches, consultants, speakers, trainers. And if you're interested to take your business to the next level during uncertain times, book in a date and a time to have a chat with me. It's a very informal chat, and I'm not going to sell you on the phone and push you into something that isn't right for you. But if, you know, whatever you have as a problem aligns with what that program offers, then I will share exactly what's in the program for you. But just bear in mind, if you are reaching out to me, just be ready to act. Yeah. I don't like people who go into procrastination. I like people who want to move forward and make a difference. So with that being said, here are the 3 stories on getting things done faster. Are you ready? Yeah. Just give me a yes. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a heart, actually. Yeah. You can give me a thumbs up or a heart. I know it's much easier just to thumb it on with your finger rather than type something in. Eric, by not making a decision, you're actually making a decision. Yeah. That's true. You know, by not making a decision, you're making a decision. But the other thing is, which is why I said the mindset part, what also happens is, because you've not made the decision that you really want to make, and you've ended up by basically not taking the action, you cause yourself more harm. And I've been there, because as I said, you got anxiety, depression, overwhelm, stress. All these things actually start to pile on for no real reason other than, you know, what's going on up here in your brain, just because you haven't made that decision. And there's a whole bunch of other reasons why that comes into play, to do with your ego and some other things. And that's for Sunday mornings, guys. If you catch my Sunday morning show, that's where we talk more about those things. But let me move forward. So how do you spell procrastination? You know, Eric Swanson, he's a beast at spelling. I can see he was a spelling bee champion. So let me get into these 3 stories, guys. So Richard Branson. So I like this story because it kind of just gets straight into a couple of things. So when he was in his 20s, he had a business, but nobody knew who he was at the time. And this is from his words. I'm just paraphrasing here, guys. I was headed to the Virgin Islands. So he was actually headed on holiday. So this is in his late 20s, and a very pretty girl waiting for me. So, you know, almost like a date, probably a girlfriend or whatever. So he was determined to get there. And my take on this is, he set up this holiday. He was taking this woman to the Virgin Islands in the Caribbean, and wanted to show off a bit, you know, kind of, I'm Richard Branson, even though in his late 20s, nobody really knew about him. But, you know, he was somebody to himself, and at least to this woman. So he's at the airport, and his final flight to the Virgin Islands was cancelled because of maintenance or something. So let me just make this a little bit bigger, guys, so you can just see the story, what I'm reading to you, and I'm going to come back to me. Because of maintenance or something was going on with the airline. It was the last flight out that night, and he thought this was ridiculous. So he went and chartered a private aeroplane to take him to the Virgin Islands with, obviously, the woman. So, which, you know, he didn't have the money to do, but he chartered the plane, guys. And this story really is the epitome of getting things done and moving things forward faster in your business. So here's the conclusion part. So then he picked up a small blackboard that was at the airline where he was, and wrote on it, Virgin Airlines, $29. So basically what he did, he figured out for all the seats on this private jet, he needed everybody to pay $29 to cover the flights of getting there. Yeah. So he went over to the group of people who were also on that flight, with the flight that was cancelled, and sold the tickets and the rest of the seats on the plane, used the money to pay for the chartered plane, and they all went to the Virgin Islands. And that, guys, was the birth story of Virgin Airlines. So hopefully you guys understand what that's all about now. You also understand where the Virgin brand comes from. So it was actually his trip to the Virgin Islands. And yes, his buddy, Sir Richard Branson, returned into a Virgin Charter Airlines. Yeah. You know, and this is a really cool thing. And here's the lesson that I want to share with you guys. Have a compelling reason to start the idea, to start the campaign, to launch the product, launch the service. Have a compelling reason. So for Richard Branson at the time, obviously his compelling reason was to show this woman who he was taking, you know, on holiday, that he was somebody. He was, you know, either the man, or however you want to look at it, but he had a compelling reason, and he took action on that compelling reason, guys. So if you're in this position where you feel like you are procrastinating, you're not doing that thing, you know, it could be launching a campaign, launching a funnel. It could be picking up the phone and speaking to that prospect. It could be picking up the phone and speaking to the leads that you have, whatever it is. And, you know, right now, you know, we're in recession. Yeah. And it will go across all of the news globally more and more as time goes by. So now more than ever is a perfect time for you to have a compelling reason to start. And it doesn't mean a compelling reason that it has to be this monster thing where you put your family, your community, your wife, your husband, your children all on your back to say, that's why I've got to do it. Just start. Just, even if it's a small thing, make that the compelling reason. I'm going to share a mini story here, guys. So I don't know if you guys watched the recent Jordan documentary. So in there on the Netflix documentary, what he shares is he would make up stories about his opposition, about the competition, to make himself feel compelled to go out there and beat them, to compete and be the dominant winner. So, have a compelling reason, guys. So story number 2, it's me. So I want to share a quick story with you. And this was my first 5-figure month in this business that I'm in now. I've had previous businesses, but in my main business that I run now called Business Owner Elevation, this was my first 5-figure month. And I want to share the story of how that happened. So when I launched my first official webinar back in 2016, I didn't have a big strategy, big email list. My email list, I had about 300 people at the time because it was a brand new business. And at the time, I launched some Facebook ads and I had people signing up. I didn't really think about I need to have the perfect graphics or the perfect copy for my ads or even the perfect funnel. I just set up the campaign, set up the funnel and just got started. And from those signups, people who registered onto the webinar, I probably had something in the region of about 250 registrants at the time. Yeah. So I took my email list from 300 to like 550 and I had about 50% show up rate. So there's probably like about 100 people on the webinar itself. So I'm speaking and obviously doing this webinar 90 minutes. And by the time I get to the call to action, the offer, there's probably about 50 people on there. So anyway, what I did, I presented the offer and the offer was very simple, guys. People were able to sign up for, it was like a £20 call. And on the call, I would give them a strategy. And so I'd take 30 minutes, talk them through a strategy, and they got a bunch, I think it was like 3 PDF guides that I was giving away as part of this £20 offer. But anyway, out of those people who both watched the webinar and the people who didn't turn up for the webinar, I picked up the phone and I did the arranged calls with those who booked in for the £20 call. And I also picked up the phone and called those who didn't turn up for the webinar. And just to let you know, guys, out of that, within 23 days, I'd closed just over £23,000 in business. And that was my first 5-figure month in the business that I'm in right now. And that was really what I launched with. Yeah. So I remember it pretty clearly because I think that was like October 2016. And so the point I'm getting to, guys, is for me at the time, it was kind of like, that was a big thing because I wanted to start fast. I wanted to get cash flowing because I didn't put any money into this business. What I put was time and just created the business. I created it based out of, I guess, of an idea, strategy, and just a vision of what I wanted the business to be. So the point I want to get to here, guys, is when you're in this zone of I need to get things done, just execute. Worry about whether it's perfect afterwards. You can do the debrief, the analysis, the after analysis, all those types of things. Just go for it, guys, because the more you start to think, what you're actually doing is adding time to your ability to get to the results. So instead of it being, I can get results today, tomorrow, this week, it becomes, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, next month, 6 months, 1 year. Well, like the person I was speaking to in the story I shared right at the beginning of this live stream today, 14 months and still hadn't got one sale or created a prototype for this product that wants to launch. So the lesson here is have a goal. See, my goal when I launched that program, the webinar, sorry, I had a goal of having 10 people in my new Vortex group coaching program. And that's what I hit. I got 10 people in the program. And it's like, a lot of people talk about, what's your intention or what do you want to manifest? I was very clear on what I wanted as a goal. And that's what I went out there and achieved, guys. And so sometimes you've just got to put a marker down. You've got to put that marker down and say, here's what I'm going for. And I will not compromise on the end result. So therefore, I'll do everything that I need to do in order to make the end result possible. Does that make sense, guys? I've seen many times people, wishy-washy. I was having another conversation with a female entrepreneur actually, and she was in a similar situation to the story that I started this live with, where she had ideas and she was this kind of like into, what's the best way for me, like an academic, yeah. and she was talking about these different ideas, these different programs, and I'm like, let me have a look at what those are. She explained what both are, and I say, right, here's the main idea that you can run with. And the one thing that I found interesting is that she also had spent years on this topic, an expert at this topic, but never launched anything, and instead always got sidetracked with projects or consulting projects for things like universities or research programs. And so what it would do is take her away from what she really wants to get into, and it would pull her into a different direction. And I'm sharing this with you guys because, sometimes opportunities will come, yeah, but you've got to be clear, does that opportunity fit the goal of where you want to go? Does it help you get to the end result, or does it pull you right off track? And that's the part you've got to be clear on, because when you have a goal, what you'll find you'll do is end up saying no even more. So the conclusion of this, the mini story with this woman, as I'm speaking to her, what she then said was, how about we launch the business together and you come in as a kind of shareholder and you take back some of the earnings? And what I shared with her was very simple. I said, the hardest part of anything is in launching a business is the starting. And I said, I've already done my start. I can't help somebody else start. If you come to me with a business that you've already started, then I can help you get momentum, but I can't help start it for you. Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. So let's go into story 3. And this is another great story. I don't know if you've heard of this guy. You've probably heard of the brand. Can you see the logo on the right-hand side behind him? So the brand is Under Armour. Kevin Plank is the owner of Under Armour. So the CEO of fitness apparel company Under Armour was pretty much broke when he started selling signature clothing, the Under Armour brand. He took all the cash he saved, about $20,000, and racked up an additional $40,000 of credit card debt to fund the company. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know this story. Do you know it? Do you know the brand? I've got a few Under Armour tops actually that I wear to the gym, and tracksuit bottoms, that kind of stuff. So anyway, he racks up this, and what actually ends up happening in this particular story, guys, and I'm going to come to the lesson in a moment, is with the Under Armour brand. So he launches, he takes out this money, and soon after, he lands his first sale, and his first sale is $17,000 to Georgia Tech University. So he actually makes a $17,000 sale to a university to sell them clothing apparel for their sports team. And just as things happen when you're in this kind of, I guess this role of momentum, things happen, and that's what happened to him with Kevin. So he made made sales to 24 NFL teams. So if you don't know what NFL teams are, they're American football teams. So in America, they have American football. In the UK, we have football, and that's it. So he made some sales to these teams, and from there, he went on, and in just a few years, to cultivate millions in sales. He hired hundreds of employees, and today, Under Armour is worth, I think, probably just over $2 billion in retail sales, and has 6,000 employees. So the lesson here that I want to share with you guys is you must start selling. So if you're looking for breakthroughs in your business right now, and say you do have an idea, or you've got a service, a product, or even if you're launching a brand new business and you've already got a business, but you're launching something totally new, the reality is that you have to simply start selling, guys. You can't hang around and wait for things to be perfect. And I don't know about you guys, but the more focused I am on executing what it is that I want and selling the very thing that I know will make a difference to my clients and will bring, either benefit in time, in money, in quality of life for the people who use my products and services, the more that momentum follows you. Yeah. And I find a lot of people who they're in this place where they're trying to get things perfect. And if that's you right now, and I'm speaking to you, and you're like, yeah, but it needs to be perfect. I need to have my company registration number. I need to have my VAT number, or I need to have my patent, my copyright, my trademarks, and all these different things. I'm telling you guys that, a lot of these big companies that you probably look into or look up to, whichever way you want to word it, I'm telling you right now, a lot of the things you're probably procrastinating over or thinking over, these companies just went ahead without those things. They just did it. So they had the idea, they set a goal of what they wanted to do with the idea, which probably took them only so far, probably a fraction of where they wanted to be or wherever they achieved with where their business is now. But then they started taking action and selling. So whether it was finding the right strategic partner, joint venture partner, whether it was just getting out to, you know, just groups of people who could potentially be your customers, and they put the offer out there, that's what they did. And so for me, guys, lesson 3 is to start selling. You know, don't worry about the price. Is the price right? Is it too high? Is it too low? Start, because then as people start buying, you'll start to realize if you priced it too low, too high, or whatever it is. Yeah. So just start moving. So in summary, guys, you know, I'd love for it to be more intricate, more in-depth, and more focused. But the reality is that if you want to get things done faster, just start, take action, and kick procrastination in the ass. And, you know, I want to come from a more kind of higher level approach to procrastination. I remember earlier in my career, when I was in my late 20s as a business owner, you know, there were always different, I guess, situations where I would have to think about stuff because I wasn't experienced in those things. And because of that, some of those things would hold me in, I guess, in a frozen situation where I couldn't make a decision, aka procrastination. So what I'd say to you guys, if you're in this place where you do have an idea, you do have some type of idea of the goal or what you perhaps would like to achieve, but you're not quite sure what needs to be done, and therefore that's what's got you in overwhelm, or perhaps you're stuck, then what I'd say to you guys, you know, like, I'm trying to find an exact example here. I've got one client. So this was Stephanie. Yeah. So Stephanie, she was an example of a business owner. Again, she was in business for 6 months before she made her first sale. And I want to share this brief story with you. So she came to me because she was stuck. She was in procrastination, wasn't sure what to do, overwhelmed, stressed. And so I said to her, look, tell me what your product is. Great. Tell me who the target audience is. Great. So we got very clear on the niche. And I said, any of that target audience, are you already in contact with? And she's like, great. Yes, I am. So I'm like, perfect. I'm like, call up the 5 people, because I think it was about 5 at the time. It was a couple of years ago. So she phones up the 5 people, and I think 2 of them give her a meeting. The first meeting she goes to, and just before, obviously, the meeting happens, we discuss what the offer is. So I said to her, understand clearly what they want, take a notepad, and as they're telling you, start to formulate, what you believe they're going to need. And when you finish that meeting, or you finish that part of the conversation, just put a number down and what you think they should pay you for that. And she took that action. So she took action by making the call. Yeah, and this was a cold call, by the way, guys. People who she'd spoken to even just a little bit, but not spoken to the decision maker, and got those 2 appointments out of the 5 people that she knew. So anyway, she lands her first sale after trading for 6 months with no sale, simply by putting the offer to the person, saying, yes, I can deliver exactly what you're looking for, and here is what's included. And you know what she'd done up until that point was she tried to create the perfect service. She tried to think about all the objections, all the things that might be needed, people might want, or even the things she couldn't really, guess what another person would think in her target audience. And so she was just overthinking. And so the point I want to share with you here, guys, is it really is about just jumping forward. So when you make that decision just to move forward, I'm telling you, a lot of things will change for you. I'm just skipping through, guys, because I just wanted to see if there was any other story. Yep. So one more story. So this is my client, Pin. So Pin, another great example. He was already a business owner, but he had a new idea. Yeah, new idea. And this one's really great, guys, because you can see the result on the screen. If you're looking, I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so you can see. Can you see that top left, guys? So that's a real result from his shopping cart. And I'm going to tell you what this story is behind this, if you've not heard this story before, because I share it quite a lot as well. It's a really great story. So anyway, this is a perfect story of just taking action. So Pin is already an existing business owner. He's already one of my clients who I coach, and he says, Leon, I've got this idea. So this is like 12 months before the idea is launched. I want to create this online course. And I'm like, okay, great. Tell me about it. And he's talking, but I didn't get the sense like that there was anything urgent. It just sounded like an idea. And therefore I didn't really want to push, say, yeah, okay, let's get to it. Because he's already got his business, and his business that I've helped him with is already doing really well, very successful. And so about another 6 months pass, Leon, that course I was talking about before, I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure if I should do it. And I'm like, okay, because at that point still he kind of like pushed a bit forward, but I didn't really get this sense of like urgency. So anyway, 3 more months pass, and then we're in another coaching session, and he says, Leon, that idea. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm still thinking about it, but I don't know whether I should launch it. I'm like, I'll tell you what we can do, because I've heard you mention this a couple of times now. I said, you put a date on the calendar and we make this thing happen, because you keep speaking about it, but you're not taking action. So anyway, guys, within 2.5 months, that's the date we put in the calendar, and Pin creates this online course for his target audience. It's not a very expensive course, but it's a really great course. The course is £27. That's about $35 if you're watching outside of the UK. So we launched the course. Yeah. His goal. So remember I said, I think it was lesson 2, have a goal. Yeah. His goal was to get to £10,000 in sales per month. Yeah. By the end of 12 months. Within the first 30 days, he does just under £11,000 in sales when we launched the course. And as you can see, guys, in 12 months, the course generated just over £116,000. Yeah, that's a £27 course. So obviously there's a few other things that happen to get all the traffic, to get the customers to buy there. But imagine if he hadn't launched that idea. Imagine if he thought about it for another 12 months. Imagine if he didn't take action, guys. He would be £116,000, which is probably about $130,000 worse off. Yeah. So that's my final story that I want to share with you guys. You must take action. Do not wait for things to be ready. Yeah. Don't wait for it to be perfect. And if you are a business owner right now and you just want to move things forward, and you're thinking, I'm not sure where to start. I need the right strategy, or I need, somebody who can guide me on this. This is what I do, and this is what I can help you with, guys. So if you want to attract more qualified clients, or you want the right marketing strategy, you want to understand how to simplify your message, but actually generate bigger results, take your business to that next level, that's what I can help you with. I have a program called Certainty in Crisis. It's a 8-week coaching program backed with a full online course with videos, templates, scripts, everything you need to understand, from targeting the right niche, your ideal client avatar, setting up your brand culture, creating your program or service. So whether you want to create an online course or just create a service, or even a coaching program, how to map out an irresistible no-brainer offer. Yeah. So where people see the offer and they just want to buy it. Yeah. So they end up chasing you. How to attract the right type of people with the right message, how to get more traffic, how to convert people in from prospects into clients, and how to handle objections. If that's what you're looking for, anything that fits or resonates with you with what I've just said, then what I'd love for you guys is to book in a call with me. Go to leonstreet.com/join-CIC. Just book in a call there, and you will speak to me. You're not going to speak to somebody else. You'll speak to me, and I can help you go to the next level. I've got loads of results from 6 to 7 figures with clients. So I'm not going to talk to you about my opinion or some fantasy land results. I'm going to share with you exactly what I've helped my clients to do. So if you're looking for a coach or a mentor, somebody who can just guide you on the right path, and especially over the next 8 weeks, and just take you in the direction of changing where you are, changing who you are in terms of the results you generate, what you can do for you and your family, then, please book in a call, guys. Hope you've enjoyed today. So remember, guys, there was 3 lessons. Yeah. Have a compelling reason to take action. Number 2, have a goal to execute on, so that idea isn't just wishy-washy. You're going for something specific. And number 3, sell the thing even before it's ready. Take action, and find out how the market responds to your offer. And on that note, guys, remember to join me every Wednesday. I'm here 8:30 p.m. Hopefully you have enjoyed today's 3 lessons and today's topic on how to launch campaigns, ideas faster in your business. So I'm back on Sunday morning, 8:30 p.m. 8:30 a.m. Sorry, Sunday morning UK time. I'd love for you to join me. And once again, thanks for watching. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my evening. Take care. Bye bye.